welcome everybody. We're going to start with community comments and non-agenda items, and if there's any to come up later, we will finish with community comments.
Perfect.
So,
let's see, so Marie and Katrina.
Katrina said if she needs to later. We'll start with Deb.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Marie and
Yep. Yep.
My bad.
So, dear school board members, I come here before you tonight as a frustrated and heartbroken veteran teacher. I am one of the educators that is being forced to transfer to another school after nearly 20 years of service in this district, first as a substitute and then for the past 15 years as a teacher in the middle school. Throughout my career in Sidney Middle School, or Sidney Public Schools, I have dedicated myself to the middle school community, building strong and meaningful relationships with both students and colleagues. That community has allowed me to better support student learning and contribute positively to the school's environment. This district has long taken pride in rewarding loyalty and dedication. For example, this is shown through the addition of the longevity pay and the statements from administrators expressing commitment to avoiding forced transfer. Mr. Sukkot himself has stated that he is against forced transfers. In my time here, I can only recall one instance that occurred under unforeseen circumstances when a last-minute enrollment increase required the additional kindergarten teacher. Even then, the decision followed a fair and widely accepted practice: last hired, first considered. That standard was not applied in my case. I have served at the middle school for 15 years. I am established, I am committed, and I am deeply invested in my role. Yet I am being asked to move while a staff member with only 8 months in the district is being placed in my position. This individual holds a K-12 accreditation and could be placed in the open position at Central School.
We need to not talk about other people.
Okay, which would meet the district needs while honoring my years of service. I do not believe this decision reflects fairness, consistency, or respect for experience or dedication. Over the years, I have built the middle school library program from the ground up. I have created systems and instructions that effectively support both students and staff, and I remain committed to continuing that growth and strength in this program. Beyond the library, I also contribute to the school community in many ways. I run the student store, I support the staff duties, I implement and maintain Freckle as a supplemental learning resource. I lead and co-lead the Builders Club. I collaborate on research units with several of the teachers in our building. I also have written and secured grants to support students struggling with fluency and comprehension. And I do this work because I deeply care about our students, and I take pride being part of the middle school staff. I am happy in my role. I love what I do, and I value the friendships that I have built with students and staff. This is why this decision is so painful. I feel that through my years of dedication and hard work and loyalty were not considered in this transfer. I respectfully ask the board to reconsider this decision. I urge you to reflect on the importance of fairness, consistency, and the impact these choices have on long-serving teachers who have devoted their careers to this district. Thank you for your time.
I'm Marie Holler, and I work at the middle school as well. And I'm not really here to debate whether or not we can be reassigned, because I know that it says in our contracts that we can't be reassigned, or to even say that it doesn't seem like it can happen. What I really wanted to talk about is a few things: is seniority, loyalty, and stability should matter. So the board has emphasized the importance of loyalty and longevity with our district through the longevity stipends. I believe the same philosophy should be applied and considered in voluntary transfers. Teachers who have demonstrated commitment for professionalism and positive contributions to a building should be given consideration and respect to these decisions and be able to stay there. Happy and appreciated employees are more productive, more invested, and ultimately better for students. And that's what we really do, is wake up every day for the students and work for them. At the middle school, I have spent the last 13 years there, and 12 of those 13 years I was in the tech lab. And I was ready for a change, so last year I transferred to 8th grade math because I needed a professional change, and because technology at the middle school has become increasingly difficult to sustain due to lack of support and funding, because there isn't a lot and technology changes a lot. My computer lab needed replacement 3 years ago, and the computers were constantly crashing. I use a lot of free curriculum, and my curriculum wasn't free anymore. It was starting to charge, and that makes it difficult to keep up with. So I'm always changing and reconsidering and redoing. When I first came to the district, I was able to go to a lot of conferences, or I went to 2 conferences, and I was able to learn about things that were out there, and I wrote grants to get those things to be brought into the computer lab so I could teach it to the students. But ultimately, I teach myself so I can teach the students. And most of that is there's not classes that I can take, so it doesn't go towards my accreditation or the 12 hours that we have to do every year. So I have to do those 12 hours plus do this. And it was a lot to keep up with, especially when we don't have funding. And I was told I can't go to conferences anymore. And it was the conferences that I used to see what is out there. What are other teachers doing? I join the Facebook groups. I do all the things. But it's really hard when you're in a smaller community. There's not anybody around to collaborate with. And so those are the things I did. And I was kind of feeling after a while that I would repeatedly request for it. My computer lab wasn't working, and there was no money towards it, that I felt like I was the only one that cared about really technology at the middle school. And so I did ask for a request to be moved, and I had really loved being in math. It was a great change for me. It was a great change for me just overall as a teacher. So when I expressed my concern that the lack of support, because I am being moved back to the computer lab this year, and I said, here's the reasons why I've asked to be moved out, because we did get a new principal this year, I was told just to lower my standards and not work as hard. That is not who I am as an educator. I would never do that. So I take pride in doing my job and providing students with meaningful learning experiences. It is difficult to thrive in a position that feels unsupported, underfunded, and undervalued. My main concern, though, is the lack of professionalism. I was not called and said, hey, this is what we're thinking of doing, or this is what's happening. We kind of need to shuffle people around. I was sent an email on a Thursday at like 4:16, and the students knew that day that I was getting transferred. They knew, and they were talking about it at school and among each other, and they were messaging me and saying, how come you're getting moved? What did you do? Those are things that you never want to hear as a teacher, because I was actually going, what did I do? And when I called somebody else to say, did you know I'm getting moved? They asked, well, did you make some parents upset? Did you do a bad job in math? Those are the first things that come out of them. I didn't know, because nobody called me. All I did was get an email saying, we need you to transfer back, and here's why. Like, this happened, this happened, this happened. We have a new math teacher. But nobody called me to be like, can you get in on the conversation? And had I been in on the conversation, I'm actually the type that probably would have been like, I understand. Yeah, I could probably do that. But I wasn't, and I don't feel like that's a professional courtesy that I deserve better than that. Because I am a professional, and I come through all the time. I also learned that another teacher that the district was brought in on the conversation. They knew that they were moving, but I didn't. So as I was not given that courtesy despite my 12 years in the district. Because there's no communication, I was left wondering what I had done wrong and who I had upset. The way it could have handled could have been much better, and I would have felt probably a little bit more valued as an employee in the district, and valued as a teacher, and I have given many years and many hours to it. I just believe that when involuntary transfers are necessary, professional courtesy matters. We are professionals and adults, and a difficult conversation should happen face-to-face or at minimum through a phone call. Had I been included in a respectful conversation from the beginning, my feelings and energy surrounding this move would be different. Communication, transparency, and respect go a long way in maintaining morale within a district. And I'm sure you guys know, you've probably sat through those teachers' classes before when they don't have great morale. And I've always been one that's positive and brings it to it. But it makes it difficult when you don't feel like you're being respected or valued. Thanks
the same thing happened with Marie as me too, of how we found out. And so it's just been hard. And for me, I just would like to, I just didn't see why 3 people needed to move and when one could move. So thank you for your time. And if nothing changes, I still think we just wanted the record to show how that was done.
And how it could be done differently.
How it could be done differently.
For the kids.
Thank you.
Okay. You want me to start going through the report?
Yep.
Okay. So, West Side, obviously, as we're starting to wrap things up, we're gonna see a lot more field trips, things like that. Testing is pretty much should be wrapped up, by now. They have their spelling bee in April. Second grade students competed in the Kodiak test. That is the one that they test in to determine whether or not they make it into the SOAR program, which is our Kids with Talented program. So they'll start that next year, 3rd grade. So that's how we've done that in the past. Central School, you can see a lot of field trips and have some speakers. One of them I thought that was interesting. They had Nate come in and talk about bow hunting for the 5th graders, but just different things that are going on. As far as the middle school, wrapped up all of their spring sports. I know that gets pretty hectic. They had their middle school academic Olympics where they went to Glasgow. One of their teams earned 1st place in both the written and oral competition, so it looks like we competed fairly well in that as well. We did have a construction issue. One of the main water lines over by the basketball hoop started leaking, so we had to bring somebody in, and I believe Corwin came in with them and Olson's, and we got that fixed. So it took a little bit longer than we thought, but the problem was once they had it dug out, they had to wait for it to dry before they could backfill it, so it didn't really cool. High school, the branding project, so with the approval that you had for purchasing that equipment for them, they're gonna start that starting. You'll see later in here, they're gonna create an ASB account for that. He did talk about the anticipated handbook changes. Those will be on the board docket next month. Most of that is gonna be, the changes that you'll see for that will be AI related. Mrs. Munson's special education report, they had an ANT training. That's basically the training that you go through for de-escalating a student that is escalated. So we have to have special training for that, and then they put together their teams. Mr. Barnhart had some interesting things that he put in his report. You can see the attendance rate and the graduation rate as you look throughout all of Class A, and then the per pupil expenditure as you look at that as well. We actually have really good attendance rates. I mean, I know Mr. Coryell would argue with me about that, but our attendance rates compared to the state are actually really good. Our graduation rates are pretty solid too. They're a little bit more probably average, but the attendance rates, it was good to see that we were up there. And then he also has some historical data on the ACT testing. We did get an email last week from ACT saying that they have to rescore everybody that took the computer version of that because they found some glitch, and some of the student scores probably will go up a little bit. If they go down, they're not going to make them go down, but if they go up, they'll allow that to change. Superintendent report. You can see the total enrollment 1,161, up 1. Ooh, we can celebrate 1 month, right? We finally stopped dropping to 1,160. Calendar events, ton of things that we're finishing up. Obviously, we had graduation on Sunday. I thought the graduation was great. I had a ton of people come up and talk to me about, they were super impressed with the choir and the band. They sounded great though, they really did. It was good. Strategic plan, graduate profile, OPI accreditation, professional development plan, Indian Ed for All. So those items we talk about at our weekly administration meetings. I know Mr. Barnhart has talked a little bit about maybe changing the strategic plan to another year out to give him time to understand and get a feel for this role before he tries to take on a project like that. That's a pretty big project. The last time we started that, we hired MT nothing that was causing major leaks. They got that stuff patched up, but they're gonna start on that, I believe, next week or the first week of June. They're trying to wrap up a project, I think, over in Poplar, Texas said. The other thing we'll talk about is, and for a potential project at the high school is the bleachers, just to kind of fill you in on what we may have going on there. Middle school, talked about the water main line, hot water heater did get replaced at the same time. West side, they'll have some minor cement work, just for safety reasons, and then here, the HVAC with, Acre and Core. Core was in last week, and our new thermostats are in, that project should pretty much be wrapped up. School safety, nothing new to report. Threat assessment, there was a threat assessment conducted last week at Central School. After finishing the full investigation, it was determined there was no credible threat to any staff or students. NEMAS, I attended that virtually, but ended up having to take care of some other things. I was kind of, anytime you attend those things virtually, it's like popping in and out of the office. I really didn't get a lot out of it, to be completely honest with you, but that was the last one for the year. Curriculum, this again, we discussed it at all of our weekly admin meetings. The main focus for curriculum going into next year is gonna revolve around completing the reading for the elementary K-5 in the Atlas platform, and then also taking your focus with the middle school and the high school to start to have your vertical alignment meetings. They'll start probably identifying, discussing essential standards for each grade level, each department, and then also look at eliminating overlap on mastery level standards. So that'll be a lot of work, but I know that the high school and the middle school are starting to get kind of excited to have those discussions. Insurance. We're getting to the point with insurance, and this is always it's the part that causes a lot of stress, is when you run up to the enrollment deadline. We have about 50 staff members that still haven't done that. We did ask them to do it a couple weeks ago, and then we had time available this Friday if they had questions to come in and do it. So we had some that finished it. Tracy's been working on. Some of it is also the people that have retired that still use our insurance, trying to get them to complete it too. So it's not just our staff members, but former staff as well, but there's still about 50, and that's due Friday. So we'll be sending out a lot of emails this week to try to make sure that we get that. For most of them that did it, like people that are on the single plan, you didn't have to remember your kids' social security number, because I would not be able to do that. That's really the trickiest part. The rest of it was pretty simple as far as trying to navigate through. So I think we'll just sitting down and trying to get them to log in and get through it. Technology, all of that's pretty much wrapped up, and then we do have our Chromebook bids that we'll look at tonight. Then you can see our open positions with our transfers, and then also our resignations. Consent agenda? Yeah. Okay. All right. So starting on page 15, that's the meeting minutes from April 13th. Take a look at those. If you see any changes that you think need to be made, let us know. We'll make those changes before we vote on that. Page 22 starts the financial reports. Those are the county investments. Starting on page 23, those are the expenditures to date, or I guess not necessarily to date, that's as of April. So you can see the percentage that was expected to be spent versus what we've actually spent there. The revenue reports, so that would be the money that we've collected. Again, a lot of that you're waiting on from the state throughout the year. So for instance, if you look at the general fund, it's about 70% that we received through April. Cash balances are on page 25. And then your revenue received versus anticipated, that's always kind of an interesting one to look at as well. Just to see what we were expecting to come in versus what we've gotten in a percentage. Still have quite a bit that we have coming in, but we still have bills to pay. And then page 28, that is the check register, so you can see where we're writing all of the checks to. We're making some of the bigger payments. Nothing that really stood out on that, I didn't think. Page 30, again, fund summary for your claims. Starting on So money that was made from building those sheds was previously being put into the skills account, and it should have been going into the industrial arts account. Skills doesn't make the sheds, the industrial arts class does, so that was just where the funds are going, correct? On that one, but there's quite a few pages that are put together of where those receipts were at and where they ended up going. And then on page 54, there was another one, so there was a deposit that went into the correct account. It went into industrial arts and it was supposed to go to man, so that check was made for $639.07. There's a quest for a new ASB account. That's going to be the high school apparel store. That does need board approval, but I obviously think that would be a good thing for them to have. Starting on page 58, this is where all of your dues start to come in. Those are our Montana High School Association dues, so we have to pay per sport for that. That didn't increase for next year. We also have to pay for concussion insurance and catastrophic liability insurance. Those rates didn't go up from NPSBA. The next one is MQEC, so that is the Montana Quality Educator Coalition. They do a lot of lobbying for us. They also take bills that are passed by the legislation and put into action, and they'll actually bring up lawsuits against the state and those bills. Like currently there is a special education savings account bill that's in litigation because of the negative impact it would have on public education. So they're a group that works with MDSBA. They do a lot of work to help fight for public education. Starting on page 63, that would be all of our MTSBA bills. It seems like they always used to wrap them all up into one. They have on here, just trying to, for example, what was the one? Well, I have it in the, just trying to remember for the, oh, like the strategic planning maintenance services is embedded in that. The labor relations maintenance services, that one is for the, and then just their general dues overall. So their general dues this year are $9,527. That does not include the other couple thousand of the other ones that they included. I would recommend with that though, going into a legislative session, staying with MDSBA for next year. There's been a few changes there that I think impacted them negatively. I know when Chris Goss decided to retire, that hurt them. He was kind of a law guru. Like he knew every in and out of everything. He would send all of our recommendations and rewrite our policies. And he would actually explain why and if it was required or if it was recommended. They don't really do that anymore, and that was a little bit frustrating. But it's getting better again. It's just a matter of, I think, kind of they took a couple hits there and they're starting to get back to where they were. MREA, I believe we're one of the only Class A schools that belong to the Montana Rural Education Association. That's a lot of schools out in eastern Montana. The one thing that's nice about this is it ties in the Montana Cooperative Services bid, so when you pay for this, you get that for free. And we do use that for some of our food service purchasing. I will tell you this though, Shelley Peters has done an amazing job of finding other alternatives to what we normally do to drive down the cost for some of the, like your milks and things like that. You'd be surprised like how fast some of that adds up. So I would still recommend staying a part of that again. As you look at the legislative session that's coming up, they do a lot of lobbying work for the district. If you look on page 71, there's different options for this though. You see the first option, it has the membership. It also has paid legal counsel option. I don't think we need to use them for our legal counsel. We use Caliber Law and we also use MTSBA. I would recommend to go with option 2. That just removes the legal counsel. We pay for the membership and then we get the cooperative services for free and Cisco food bid membership for free as well. Page 72 is Healthy as Wellness. Let me go to, I don't know if we can add it, yeah. So the first year of the program, we had about 70 participants. This last year, we ended up with 136 participants. So It is really good. I know when she was talking to me about, she does this, I believe, with Miles City as well. Seems like you kind of compare Miles City a lot. That was about, and Miles City is a fair amount bigger than we are. They actually had probably fewer than that, or right at that. And they've been doing it for a long time. They're seeing the benefits of it. So I think the participation, as far as that goes, is great. And then they're really starting to tackle like the A1C levels. So they look at those, they get a baseline for everybody that was high. Everybody that was high ended up lowering their A1C throughout the year. So if we can start doing things like that, that's gonna drive down the cost of health insurance as well a little bit for the district, or at least not make it skyrocket. So I myself am a believer in that program. I think it's a great benefit that we can offer to them. She's gonna extend it out so there will be summer pop-in times available to staff so they can go and meet with her. And she also wants to offer it for free to students. So
Are you using it at the city hall? They have a machine there.
oh yeah, she just said that she's gonna start having like slots where they can just go in and get that stuff checked. So I feel like we go with it. It'd be the same package as last year, but it's kind of the max package now.
I literally have seen it, so Miles City Schools is a client of mine, so I've actually seen in the last 5 years, they've got a self-funded plan, and they've opted to say self-funded, and I've seen them utilize that tool to their benefit. But it was at a cost originally, when we put that together, but just the healthy as wellness side of it, what they've done with that over the last 3 years.
Right.
And the huge component of those funds or those programs, as well as the program that we have going forward are drugs.
Right.
And this, either pinpoints that or helps to reduce or alleviate it, so.
And the other thing too is she's working with John, I think it's Duran, I don't know how to pronounce his last, Dorian or Duran. Anyway, so Bridge is interested in partnering with Healthy as Wellness, so we basically get the same benefits we were getting through JPT. It's $1,000 per visit, but they pay 500 of it, so it's a matching amount. So and Bridge seems like they've been really open to pretty much a lot of the suggestions that people are coming at them with. So I honestly think that that's gonna be something that'll be the same benefit that we had before, so.
Just that whole program now has evolved into since most of your traditional health insurance carriers are getting away from GLP-1s, they've come out with their own GLP-1 that actually has got an enzyme and a protein base to it.
Yep. And Ashley kind of talked about some of the stuff that they're starting to offer, and like the muscle focus on some of the stuff. It's interesting, but again, I would recommend we stay with it. It looks like our staff is definitely taking advantage of it. So, okay, page 74. That is our canine, basically our quote drug dog contract up with K-16. The rates for those deployments did not go up from last year either, they stayed the same. On page 76, those are your TR6 bus route reimbursements for the second semester. We would get this money anyway, but the auditors want us to make sure that the board sees this and approves them. Any questions before I read the consent agenda?
Yeah, can you give us a little more information on the transfers that they were talking about?
What do you, like, I guess, what would you like me to do? I can't really get into great detail in a public meeting without going to a closed session.
Okay, are we voting on that?
No, we don't, it's just an informational item for us.
Okay,
Yeah, like they said, it's in the contract where they can be transferred, for the need of the school district basically, and that's the superintendent's right to put people in positions that he feels best suits our district.
okay,
So any stuff like that, it's like resignations, right? We don't approve them, we're just told what happened and transfers it the exact same way. So it's just for our information, so we know what happened, that's it.
okay.
Yep, there's no vote on that.
On the revenue piece, would you, Tracy and Tom, would you take a look and see on the new Bridger pipeline that's coming through? If you could maybe look to see and maybe reach out to Carter County generate, per mile of pipeline, because it's the same size pipeline that goes through that county right now. And then you could maybe look at that and say, okay, we're, in 2029, this is what we could be having additional from that pipeline, since that will be a taxable pipeline. Carter County is Carter and Fallon County have those pipelines going through them right now.
Ecolab and Baker.
Yeah, Ecolab and Baker.
Okay. Yeah,
But
I will.
it should be a nice little bump for us.
Yeah.
It went up just a little this
It did.
last.
But everything that we see now is infield, so we don't really get that big a bang for it, but this is gonna be a little bit different.
Okay, I will do that.
I have a question, on page 26, when you have the estimated revenue and actual realized revenue and the percentage, our taxes, it's at 58% and 56% for the high school. Is that because we're only halfway through the year?
No, just that's what we've actually received,
Why?
because people dispute their taxes.
Yeah, just.
That
because-
many people?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we're lucky.
Yeah.
Like Laurel is how many years behind on the refinery? I mean,
Okay.
the refinery in Laurel, they argue their taxes every single year, and then they have so many years, so they're like 5 years in arrear on their taxes from the refinery, and obviously that's a big chunk of change.
Yeah, and that's like on the low end.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay.
Yep, yeah, it's just, when people pay it, then we get our chunk, but some people argue it, and I'm sure with changes that have happened in the county, more people are arguing, so.
So we just put in there what we were supposed to get,
Yeah.
and then we just get what we
Yeah.
get.
So when you budget, do you budget for 50%?
No, we budget for
We
the whole
budget for the
thing,
whole
we
thing.
just cross our fingers. We hope eventually it catches up and they're paying for a few years ago.
Okay, consent agenda. Approval of meeting minutes, all recorded board meeting minutes must be reviewed and approved at the following board meeting. Did you review the meeting minutes? Please make note of any additions or changes that need to be made. Recommend to approve the board meeting minutes for the April 13th, 2026 meeting with any noted or necessary brief line changes. Warrants and claims, in accordance with board policy 7326, all financial obligations and disbursements must be properly documented. The documentation must specifically describe the goods, services acquired, and the proper budget item for appropriation. Recommend to approve all claims, payments, and cancellations as presented. ASB accounts and transfers, in accordance with board policy 7425, the board of trustees shall conduct a monthly review of the ASB account balances reported by the deputy fund custodian. Recommend to approve ASB balances, transfers, payments, combined listed accounts, and voided checks as presented above. The 2627 MHSA membership dues liability, catastrophic concussion liability insurance. I believe here, it looks like for participation for our 18 program, it's $4,500. And then, based off our enrollment, it's $625 for the catastrophic insurance and $171 for the concussion insurance. Recommend to approve the 2627 MHSA dues liability catastrophe and concussion plan as presented. The 2627 Montana Quality Educator Coalition Agreement. Again, this is a group that fights for us, especially when we have bills that have a negative impact on public education. I recommend to renew our membership with MQEC for the 2627 school year. MTSBA annual dues, again, this being a legislative session, I would recommend we go with it. As you look at their fee schedule though, I did include that for 23, 24. They were at $9,148, 24, 25, $9,119. Same as 2025 and 26. They did go up this year to $9,527. There's always a little bit of a correction, and honestly, sometimes it's how much work we end up having to do. I recommend to agree to pay the yearly MTSBA dues for the 26-27 school year. 26-27 MREA membership dues. Kind of went through the spiel on these as well. I recommend to approve option 2 of the MREA proposed contract. Healthy is Wellness. I recommend to approve the Healthy is Wellness contract for the 26-27 school years presented above. K316 detection contract. This is where you see, that is not true. So the deployments are going to be the same. We do have So anyway, Mr. Dennison said that they've done an excellent job. When we went through our old Kenai group, they sold it, and then the new company was not nearly as good as what we had before. It sounds like it's pretty good again, so. Recommend to approve the K-316 detection contract for the 26-27 school year as presented above. TR6 bus route reimbursements. The district receives bus routes reimbursement claims each semester to be reviewed by the board and sent to the state for reimbursement. This is something that we did not traditionally have approved by the board, but is now requested by our auditors. We'll continue to review and approve these in the future. Recommend to approve the bus route reimbursement claim for the 26-27 school year. New hires: Davis Schapp, food service worker, 26-27. William Brinker, student worker. Shania Roner, middle school math teacher. Recommend to approve the employment of the recommended hires for the 26-27 school year's pending reference and background checks.
Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, another land transfer request. Now, I went through this. I will work with Mr. Barnhart on these, prior to leaving, but I think the one thing that we have to keep doing when we see these come up is look at the land, make sure that there's not an oil well sitting on the land. And if it turns into more than just these like 6-acre chunks, go through the process to deny them. It's one thing like here to lose $388 in tax money when we'd be getting billed significantly more to have our students go there in elementary school, but I don't want to keep going through these. Like they are very time consuming, and then you got to try to figure out what the taxes are. Like this time they didn't even send me what the tax impact was, so I told them like I'm not doing the work for you to figure that out. You need to go do that work on your own. So, given the limited impact of this, I'm fine with it, but at some point we don't want this to become past practice where we just rubber stamp these things. So, again, the land is in the Savage High School District, and it's in the Sidney Elementary District. They want the elementary transferred to the Savage District. And I would recommend to accept the request for the transfer listed. And I'm gonna be very like specific on how I word this, so if we ever find out that this is not how this is being played out and there's more land than what we approved, then we can come back and show here that this is all we approved. So I wanna accept the request to transfer the listed land from the Sidney Elementary District to the Savage Elementary District.
Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, this is honestly just being put on here as a reminder for next year. So this year, we're going to leave the out-of-district transfer request the way that it is. So we're doing, registration, thank you. We're doing registration different this year. We're not gonna do it in July, we're actually doing it next week. So next Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. So normally we had the out-of-district attendance agreements tied in with the end of registration. This year, just given how short of notice those people would have, and the mess that could create, we're gonna leave the date for that as what we would have had, which is sometime in July 25th, thank you. So this year we'll run it that way. Tom will want to Mr. Barnhart will want to readdress this early, probably in January. You only need to do one reading, and I would change the date of this to the first Monday in June for your out-of-district transfer request. If you look at a lot of schools in the state, their deadline for the following year's out-of-district attendance is like February 1st. Like they're moving it like way into the previous school year, so they basically are denying anybody that comes in after that. So this still gives the community a lot of time to get that figured out, but it also ties and wraps all this up, and then you can approve the out-of-district attendance agreements in the June meeting instead of waiting until August to do all that. So I think that this makes more sense if we like how registration goes this next week. If we don't like it, or if they don't like it and they wanna go back to the old way, this probably won't change.
For those out of district ones, will they approve them as
to be able to put things in the Herald and
Right.
everybody knew. Now you
Right.
put something in the Herald, like,
Right, I mean, obviously we have Facebook accounts for
right,
everybody.
and we've been trying to like get them out for all, like through all those accounts and,
I mean, I know a lot
I'll
of people
have
just kind of know
Linda
the
put
cycle,
another
right?
reminder.
yeah.
How many people are gonna be waiting,
Right.
calling in August, waiting for that
Right.
registration date?
And I think that this too, if there's people that call, this gives a little bit. And the other thing that we do is, Michelle Lambert calls every out-of-district transfer
Mhm.
family to let them know when that date is.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
How does it work, like especially in the districts that have the really early deadline? What if somebody moves into the area, they're out of district?
That's fine. If you live in the
But
district,
even if you're out of district, what if they moved into an area that was technically the Savage district, but they wanted to enroll,
They did
then they're out?
yeah, then they just gotta go
They're all out.
Savage.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. No, there's no action on that.
Yep.
Okay, so bleacher, where are we at here? Sorry, high school bleacher project. So I kind of have these backwards. If you look at the quote on the next page, that's on page 93. So what they're looking at doing, so originally what this started as, we have people in the community that have asked for handrails on the bleachers on the upstairs section, just for safety. And again, like that makes sense. So Mr. Dennison went through the process of trying to figure that out. While the person was there, we're starting to go to a lot more of the games where we move the bleachers back 2 sections and we put chairs on the floor. To be honest with you, as a coach, it is way, way better than having to sit on bleachers because you're still right on top of the floor. Plus your players are taking up 2 rows. It's just more convenient, honestly, for the games. We do it for volleyball. We're gonna start doing it. We wanted to start doing it even for like the 2 seats. The problem is if you take out 2 sections, you lose 42 seats per section. However, I was kind of looking at that at graduation. I don't think it would impact graduation, honestly. The 2C would be the one tournament if it is 100% packed. It would be the only one that I could see it really having much of an impact on. So, again, this is not something that we have to approve, but it would be a convenience thing. And then if you do approve that, you need to purchase a new electronic, like the thing that moves them in and out, for $500. So, back to the safety part on the upper bleachers, they would not do any modifications to those because it creates a liability issue for them and for the school. So you would have to completely replace both sections at $150,000 each. So about $300,000 to replace your upper level bleachers that work really well. So I don't think that is a thing that you wanna do at this time. If the pipeline comes through, if oil and gas starts to produce again, that definitely, I could see that being a project that you may wanna pursue for the safety side of it, for people and spectators who wanna come to the games, but right now, that just does not make sense to pay $300,000 to replace all those bleachers. This is, so to replace those 2 sections, take those 2 sections out is $11,000. I'm honestly good with just a discussion, and if you wanna make a recommendation one way or the other, great. For me, I have a recommendation to remove the sections and purchase the new electronic controller, but it really,
Okay, so I don't think we need to spend $300,000 right now either, but if somebody does fall on those and gets hurt because there are no railings, are we covered for that? Or is there no
Yeah.
insurance because there is no railings?
our liability insurance would cover that.
Okay.
Because it's how everything is existing. I would say if we replaced them and didn't put them in, we might be in trouble, but.
Do we have any areas right now that we could like block off for elderly people or something? You know what I mean?
Technically, when we move the bleachers back, nobody is supposed to sit on those sections, because it piles up 2 sections together. And we still have people that go up there and sit. It's their spot. It's been their spot for 35 years. They're gonna climb up a couple bleachers and sit there.
And you're gonna, if you sit down below, up top, you're gonna get blocked by the railing, so.
Yeah. Yep.
So to take out the bottom 2 sections is $11,000, right?
It's the first 2. You'd have to take out the insides.
Oh,
Those would go up.
gotcha. And that is mostly just a convenience thing?
Yeah, so like, if you go to a game now, we got the chairs, so number one, you basically have 2 rows, like, hidden anyways,
Yeah.
but if you extend it all the way, then you got the chairs basically touching the first row, so anybody that's trying to walk by has got to either trip over the back or go in front of it, on the court. And again, it's kind of a liability issue if they're sitting on that top row with 2 rows pushed in, which plenty of them still do also. So it would just be removing those, because we don't use them for basketball anyways, other than the 2 seat.
I've also like had my life flash before my eyes a few times with John Skinner, like right here.
Right,
The little guy?
yeah.
So it's nice to like have a little bit of room for this.
Yeah.
He is a large man. He would do damage to me.
And the problem is when we put the new bleachers in, because of the way the stairs are, the team basically has enough room for 4 people to sit, so you're like 2 to 3 rows deep right next to the scorer's table, or you're way away from everything. So that's why they went to the chairs, to make it more convenient, for the coaches and to keep the kids, kind of separate from the stands. So yeah, I think it's unfortunate to lose the seats.
$11,000 seems like a lot.
They gotta pull it away and they gotta take the top 2 off. And then they gotta reattach it.
Why can't we just leave it the way it is?
We can.
Yeah. I mean, the downside of leaving it is Brad gets hit by John Skinner. Not a downside, I'm just kidding. But you can't just move them back.
You
Because
can't.
right now we move them back, right?
Right, the biggest downside is that you potentially could be at risk because of the way the seats are, if someone is sitting on that top row and scoots off and gets hurt, because they're not using it correctly.
Right.
And when you're dealing, with insurance, that could become a problem. That's really the biggest risk.
It's all gonna come into play.
Right,
What'd you say, David?
I said it's all gonna come into play.
Oh.
This conversation's gonna come into play.
right.
Right.
So, if we do it, that takes that out of it, it's just a done deal, this is the new way. I mean, it's kinda like when we switched to these bleachers.
Yeah.
We lost seating, we adjusted the way people went up and down, and you just accepted it. It's a safety thing.
Costs less than a lawsuit.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, it's a safety thing for the team in regular, but it's also a safety thing for the district, right? Because then you're just taking that risk out. It's just taken care of, so. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be $12,000 by the time you pay for the controller, but I'm sure it's not an easy process, because they gotta pull them away, they gotta
Yeah.
take off too, they gotta reattach, so.
How long does it take?
Oh, Mr. Dennison had the timeline on that too.
Would
It
they do
actually
this
worked
summer?
it worked out really well, so they're coming in to do the gym floor. I wanna say they're doing these first,
Which would make sense.
and then do the gym floor, so then we're not like, something happens and we just redid our floor and we scratch it, so it'd be like June, early June.
When you say 42 seats per section, how many are we losing total?
How many sections?
82, you lose the 2 sections.
Per row, basically.
Yeah, sorry, section, row, all the way across. On the one
On
side.
just one side?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's just the scorekeeper side, the top 2 rows would go away. So yeah, we lose 84 seats.
And that is significant during the 2C, or in graduation probably, right?
Yeah, my graduation it's full, but there was still quite a bit of room.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the removal
And
Okay.
purchase new controller.
and purchase the controller.
Okay, we've got a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Moved and second, any further discussion?
Do we have any grant source funding available for anything like this? Does the Eagle Foundation have any money that you could go after?
But it's a match amount.
And then, I think if you explored a little bit of that, maybe the Foundation for Community Care, because this is a life safety issue, that you could, sometimes you can tap into that, and I don't know if, I believe Carl's still on that board, so you can put him on the hot seat, but
Could we ask Yellowstone Bank and they put their big logo on it, like they did the sign at the
Yeah,
junior
you
high?
know, you
You
can,
can, yeah.
So I would approve the motion with those exploratory options for additional funding of some sort. To modify that.
So word it for me.
I approve the motion to reduce or eliminate the two sections of the score table side bleachers with the option of researching additional funding via foundation or grants or reaching out to sponsors of the handrails.
I'll second it. Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, unique situation next year that actually deals with both of our seventh grade groups, or numbers in the seventh grade. And this is, Ashley asked me to talk about this, specifically looking at basketball or low. So she was wanting to potentially combine our sixth and seventh grades next year for middle school seventh grade basketball, so we're able to play on a full seventh grade schedule, and then allow the fourth grade and the fifth grade to fill the fifth and sixth grade. It shouldn't change the coaching side of things, because you still would have, right, the potential for two coaches. We've had up to two coaches for each grade level, but you wouldn't increase that. I would think you'd look at this on a year by year if you did it though. The only thing that I can see being difficult is if you allow the fourth grade to play next year. It's gonna be really hard to take that away. Because the third grade kids that wanna play are gonna wanna play the next year, and all of a sudden, I mean, and I get it, like, it's 1 year, it's one grade, but that's kind of the one area that I didn't love about that, but, I do think it would be beneficial to combine our sixth and seventh grade boys and girls teams next year.
So she can foresee already that there's not gonna be enough seventh graders to make a team.
There's not, I mean, if you did, you'd have like 5.
Okay. What about the eighth graders?
Eighth grade is,
Cause don't they move up to the high school sometimes?
they can, yeah, they'll have enough for
But
a
their
team.
seasons are different.
They're fairly low though too.
Seventh and eighth graders?
Or eighth grade season is different than the high school season.
Yes, okay.
And next year's fifth graders, that's that huge class. I mean, what if they just don't have the fourth graders play up? Or do we just letting her have that option?
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, I think if we do this, maybe it would be to allow your sixth graders to combine with your seventh, and then allow actually the flexibility to come up with a plan for the fourth and fifth grade.
Okay. Am I allowed to vote on that if I have a fourth grader and a fifth grader? Just check. Okay, I'll make a motion to allow Mrs. Koppel the flexibility to have the sixth graders play with the seventh graders and fourth graders to play elementary basketball for the 2026-27 school year.
Okay, we have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, SEA trustee agreement. We came to an agreement last Thursday. So I'm just gonna go through, do you want me to go through these? Do you wanna read through this? How would you like this piece to go? Basically, we need to approve it. We have to ratify this. The SEA did get it approved, so it's coming now to us for approval, and this would finalize it.
Let's prove it.
Okay? Okay, so with that, I recommend to approve all of the agreed upon proposals and to add these to the master agreement.
Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, administrators, licensed staff, district clerk, and department head salary increases. We completed negotiations and recommending the same 3% increase to be given to the administrators, licensed staff, district clerk, and department head salaries. Recommend to approve a 3% increase to positions as presented for the 26-27 school year.
Do I have a motion?
Um,
Do I have a second? Second. Moved and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Chromebook, and, well, this is basically for our Chromebook bids. Nathan, I'm going to lean on you a little bit here, if you wouldn't mind coming up. So, on this sheet, I believe, did everybody get a copy of this?
Yep.
Okay, so we put in for our Chromebook bid, so we put in for 200 Chromebooks, I believe.
Correct.
One thing to help offset the cost of this is probably going to go to the middle school. So they're in the most need for them, and they're going to need about 200 to cover that. So I think though we have to start getting away a little bit from the idea of being a one-to-one district, because we're truly not a one-to-one district. We're like a 1.5 to 1 district, and that means like we have that many Chromebooks versus students. And you're starting to see a little bit of a shift in the education world of, it's not like technology's going away, but going back to more traditional based learning where kids are sitting in front of a Chromebook all day learning, like that's, right? So anyway, that being said, and that's a whole other discussion. We had the bids come in, we had quite a few bids, it looks like. Do you wanna kind of go through this, Nathan, and maybe give us your professional opinion on who you would maybe think about going with?
We had 6 different companies. One just bid for 3 different models, but this one company, CNB, I've never heard of them before, but they undercut with an ASUS model, or I think that's how you say it. And yeah, they're all basically the same, meet all the same specs. 14-inch, that's kind of what we're going with. Non-touch screen, we don't use touch screen anymore. We're going with 8 gigabytes of RAM, so they can use all their extensions they need. We have quite a few extensions for adding availability for things, so things like that. But yeah, any questions about the models or what we're doing?
Is the power button on the side a perk?
It's not a perk,
Okay.
actually. That is not a perk.
Okay.
They accidentally pressed that, so kind of, yeah, avoid that. So yeah, it kind of works out where the 355 for that model works out. And I looked into it today, just opening it. I was like, oh, I've never heard of that. I haven't had one in hand, but reviews are good. It's good quality. Really hoping to get 8 years out of them. We are having issues right now with batteries. The batteries for the HPs are only lasting about 6 years, and they're swelling up, like, the pillow, and the keyboard kind of pops off, and we're having to replace those. But hopefully, we're just dealing with that. But hopefully, that would be the case with this model. We'll see.
How long has this ASUS been in?
They've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Long established brand. Yep.
Yeah, they're fine. Never had
Yeah.
an issue with them.
Actually, yeah, quality. Decent.
Yeah.
The distributor that you're using for this? Do we have any previous history with them?
No. I do have with SHI and basically everyone besides Trafera, but so I've never heard of CNB. They kind of called me out of New York. I did have a conversation with the lady. She's super nice. Yeah, seemed reputable, but maybe that's some secret warehouse. But yeah, she seemed really knowledgeable. Maybe that's why she came with another model. I don't know. So I don't know.
Perfect. So really, obviously in the past, we've had issues where some came with licenses, some didn't.
Yeah, so I didn't require it. I said throw it on the side, and I threw that off on the back. So really, you can just pick your own vendor. The licenses are not specific to whoever you go with.
So CNB has nothing extra, plus they were cheaper.
Yeah, they still have licenses available. So I was gonna get licenses from STS, some $30 a piece.
Okay.
We used to be going for 25. They just keep going up.
Weird.
They're crazy.
Yeah, obviously this is, if you have no problem with CNB and they meet the specs, I think we go with CNB.
They're in warehouse, so yeah. So
It's good. The one question that I have. So with CMB not putting a license cost in, are you assuming that's not going to be embedded in that?
it's none of these have a license in them on this side.
Okay.
Yeah, I specifically told every vendor I want apples to apples, licenses, cases, warranties, all off the side. So this is literally just the devices. But we do have to purchase the licenses on the back. So I just usually pick one. Yeah, Group was the cheapest, so.
Okay.
Okay. You want me to make a recommendation then?
I just want a motion to approve the purchase of the Asus computers through CNB and the, licenses through STS, right?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to that.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Move and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Anything else before we adjourn this first meeting?
I do have something I wanted to throw out there. Proactive IT donated $2,000 to our summer school program for this summer to help offset cost of staffing. And so I just wanted to get them publicly acknowledge that they donated that $2,000 to our program.
Awesome. Tom? Anything else? Well, as his last official meeting, I want to thank David and Randy for, David for your 9 years, Randy for his 9.5. Got you a little bit. Obviously, your knowledge base can be hard to replace.
For sure.
You know, you've come through solid on a lot of things. Randy also, I just appreciate the dedication and the effort that you guys brought to the board, and you'll be missed.
Thank you. You know, it's been my pleasure to be a part of this board, and, you know, I have the fortunate, position to be sitting in multiple school board meetings throughout the state, and county commissioner meetings throughout the state. And I will tell you that what we have in the Sidney public school systems, and from a board standpoint of what we have in this system, is, I would say, probably one of the best ones I've been in the state. So I sit, like I said, I sit in multiple board meetings, and I listen to all of the discussions, and I involved in all of the back discussions of it. And what we have, again, is something very, very special. So from how the board treats the teachers, I know that there are situations that sometimes could be done better, but for all intents and purposes, we have in Richland County a school system and a county that is extremely progressive in the state, and light years ahead of a lot of other districts and a lot of other counties. So I feel very fortunate to be a part of this for the last 9 years.
Thank you very much for your dedication. It's been great. And I know that I've talked to all of you at times about this, my appreciation for all of you. I hear like horror stories from superintendents.
I do. I hear
how things go. And it's a tough job, but you've all done a great job. Thanks a lot, Dave. Really appreciate it. It's been fun working with you.
Thank you.
Anything else before we adjourn this one? Adjourn. Subject to the open meeting law is being recorded in accordance with section 2-2-301, 2-3-202, 2-3-203, 2-3-214 Montana Code annotated. All members of the board, staff, and public in attendance are advised that the public portions of this meeting will be recorded in both an audio and video format. Cameras and recording devices are placed throughout the meeting room to complete these recordings. Everyone in attendance is reminded to honor basic rules of decorum during the meeting and guidance associated with providing public comment as stated in policy 1420F. By remaining in the meeting, those present consent to being recorded and displayed in the footage that will be posted on the school district's website.
Okay.
Welcome. There'll be an opportunity for community comments on non-agenda items at the end. Now you can talk.
Okay, so we had no election, obviously. So now we go to the appointment of the vacant positions. So the process that we went through, we had a letter of interest, we had questionnaires that were sent out. You ranked all of those, I scored all of those, and the ratings were as follows. 1 was Aaron Fink, 2 was Amber Ellenberger, and 3 was Cody Schroeder. So based on the ratings from the trustees, I recommend Aaron Fink and Amber Ellenberger to be appointed to the vacant board position.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any
Is
further
that
discussion?
Logan? You said, okay.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Tharp, would you like to come up
want. You can hang out, but.
You got
Where's
a
the
cake?
cake?
Randy's got a party going.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, going way for it.
It's going away for it.
You want to take a high five?
I will take it. I will take one for you.
I'm not gonna have the cake now that I'm thinking about my A1C level.
You gotta beef up so John Skinner doesn't take you out.
Yeah, yeah. Spirit time.
All right, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Montana,
and the Constitution of the State of Montana,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now on to just, well, let's go through the reorganization.
Yep.
And then we'll go to district clerk. Well, welcome. Okay, so this is the part now where we decide who we want to be our board chair, vice chair, and that's it. So we'll need a motion for, a board chair first. I said since these two just got appointed, we should just roll them into it.
Sounds good. Sounds like. I'll make a motion, to nominate Ben Thogerson as the board chair.
Okay, we have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
When's your term up, Ben?
I got
Never.
I got 2 more years.
Cool, big time.
I got 2 more years.
Vice chair?
What are the duties? What are the duties of the vice chair?
So basically you have to fill in for him. if
You just run the meeting if I'm not here. I've missed 2 in 10 years, so you're pretty safe, yeah.
You didn't move up on spot closer?
Well, no, let me stay down there. There's a reason there was 2 empty chairs next to me. Is anyone interested in the position? Just being honest.
I make a motion for Amy Loader.
Okay, I will second that motion. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Good job.
Now, appointment of the district clerk. Do you want me to make that recommendation?
We have a motion to appoint Tracy Blake as the district clerk.
Second.
Okay, we moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I mean,
All right, repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Montana,
and the Constitution of the State of Montana,
that I will discharge the duties of my office
and I will discharge the duties of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
congratulations.
Make sure it zooms way in.
Did you see my eyes was? Yep. Yep.
Did you have to go through that once later?
Yeah.
Thanks, Mr. Tharp. Tharp, sorry.
And I'm on my way to Savage, I will let them know about your decision on the last one. Also, I don't know how many more of these things are gonna come up with land transfers, but it is a result of just the goofier than heck ways that our district boundaries are drawn. The state legislature has come up with, every couple of sessions, they have an idea to mandate that the county superintendents redraw district boundaries to get rid of all of it. Our county has a very special map that's in the state capitol in the basement floor of the legislative services, because ours is just the worst one out there. we have islands, we have all sorts of different bits and pieces that are all over the place. I can assure you none of it is I can speak from the Savage folk, it's none of it's any disappointment or problems with the Sidney School District. It's just they have elementary age kids, they want to serve on the Savage School Board, and they can't do that with the way that land is sitting there. So appreciate your flexibility and that land transfer. I will report this to the Savage Board when I go swear them in.
Perfect, thank you.
And all our financial accounts are good, right?
Yeah, the only thing I thought I saw with the one was, what did they but Landon, I think we need to add Landon to petty cash.
Yeah. Yeah, you got that listed.
And everything else I believe is good.
Yeah, it should be good.
Cause I'm pretty sure Lauren was already, this was already done for her last year. So we should, I think we'll just add Landon then to petty cash and then just try to say that.
So that's it?
That's everything. We should.
Yeah, you can open this while we discuss it, just from the board and.
Oh, thank you.
Going away, President, figured go include David since he was here for most of this.
So,
That
I got a present from my, office staff. They got me a personal bobblehead doll. It's a hardcore dad bod.
Get your leopard print.
That's what he's gonna look like. He's good.
Sitting in the chair.
Yep, drinking a beverage.
That's probably best.
Is that Aaron got home?
What team is that?
There you go.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
What team is it?
The round.
Okay.
That was, I will give Alex all credit on that. That was it.
Thank you.
Good job, Alan.
Appreciate it. That's awesome.
Sarah and I.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, what else do we do?
Done.
Oh,
I have this building representative.
okay, who's got what right now?
Right now, all schools, and Ben Ferguson is west side, Amy and Alex are central, Josh and Sarah are middle school, and Lisa's in high school.
Oh, I was at Central.
Yeah, we changed it. We
Okay.
That's all right. So basically what we do is like, we'll assign you to school and you just try to go there, maybe a couple times a year, just to pop in, see how things are going.
Yeah, just send, or, send a text to the principal, say, hey, I'm gonna show up.
And they can take you on a tour and show you everything's got going on.
Yeah. So, I think, Lisa's the high school, we got 8, right?
Would you prefer to have a school that your kids are at, Erin? Amber, I know you have what kids at West Side?
Yeah, West Side and
They're
Central.
all open right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would take that.
Okay.
Aaron will take Central.
Woo-hoo! Don't fight for Central. I mean, they seem like
I mean,
they're so funny.
I can do West Side or middle school.
You got all the schools,
I just-
congratulations.
yeah.
That's,
Oh, I
that's,
do.
that's a perk of the job.
Also, you forgot the perk where I get to sit next to you.
Let's see, Lisa, you're kind of stuck with the high school. aren't you? Josh, do you wanna do the high school as well?
That's fine.
So that leaves
Alex.
Alex.
Alex, you got the middle school?
And
I'll go where
and
I'm
middle
needed.
school.
Okay,
Yeah. And then you.
that's fine. We'll do, those two can do the middle school.
When's the next one?
Okay, so then he goes on second.
No, Alex will do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Alex and Sarah will be middle school.
Sweet. Okay, and then somebody will probably be better about it than me with the, labor management meetings. Who all wants to sit on those?
I do.
Amy?
What board were you talking about?
Labor management.
Labor
Oh, yeah, I
management.
think still. It's fine.
Okay. That's where we talk about any issues that we have for, between, staff and administration. Yeah, try to get it resolved.
I was like,
They used to meet all the time, now it's like twice a year.
Yeah. We met more consistent this year, but there weren't many issues, so
You
that
can
would
sit in on those,
be
you
Amy
can as well.
and
Yeah.
Lisa.
Okay.
And you can sit on that.
We can only have 3 there, that's the only,
Yeah.
Okay.
we got 4, that's the board meeting.
it's just as needed.
It's on Wednesday,
It's
it's,
supposed to be the last Wednesday of every month.
yeah,
But it's like, Sunday.
Yeah.
2 years ago, we didn't meet.
Oh, really?
yeah. Of course, the years I was on it, we met every month.
Every
Yeah, it's not a big deal, I mean, it's, when they bring stuff,
still, you know, bring grievances that aren't here, right? It's, you just discuss it, but
So what we heard today, would that be?
something that they could bring. That was something they would bring up, the labor management. Yeah. Yeah, lately it hasn't been anything too major. That's why
You might see that negotiated in the next contract,
Yeah,
that wording.
they got 3 years. Oh, yeah. That might be a state law though. Yeah. So, anyways, anything else? Anyone else? Well, welcome to the board.
Yes, welcome. Thank you so much for your willingness to do it. You're gonna love it.
It's not that bad. It's sometimes the.
Thanks for not having me have to have a mail ballot with no names on it. That would've been fun.
All right,
I
well,
feel like David,
going
does
once,
he
going
get a
twice.
golden activity card or something?
I think it's
What's that?
Does he get a golden
He
activity
will,
card?
they ordered it, it will be here next week.
Yeah, I'll get your card.
I won't be here next week.
Well, we'll get it.
Or mail.
I'll put it in the
No,
mail.
hold it hostage till he comes back to a board
Yeah.
meeting.
All right, so